ministrations with secret amusement, kicked and crooned with delight. Since they could not cremate this huge body in the compound, they had to hack it into bits and carry it far away to be burned. They had expected a terrible stench to rise from the burning carcass, but instead the sweet smell of a sandalwood filled the air. This was because Pudana had suckled the divine child and thus became free from every form of sin. If a killer of infants and a vampire like Pudana attained mukti because she had fed him, then think of the glorious destiny of those who offered him all that was nearest and dearest to them, as his parents and gopis did. Those sacred feet of his, which devotees cherish in their hearts, which are the refuge of even the sages, were placed on her lap while he sucked at her breast, and so that, even though she was a demoness, she got the reward due to the Mother of God. What then can be said of the good fortune of the gopis and even the cows who fed him with great trust of love? Never was a mortal woman happier than Yashoda, wife and queen of Nanda, foster mother of the Lord. Day after day she held him in her lap and fed him, cradled him to sleep. Here is a Tamil song, Ennathavam Seideno. To take Krishna, the one who created the 14 worlds, to lift him into your arms, to rock him to sleep, to feed him milk, what great tapas did you perform, Yashoda? A mother, oh mother, what tapas did you perform, that to a great envy of Brahma and Indra, you could tie Krishna himself in the grinding stone, bind his mouth and make him beg you for mercy. What great sages like Sanaka achieved through great tapas and yoga, what they reached by prodigalous effort, you reached so easily. What tapas did you perform to have this great fortune? What penance did you do, Yashoda, for the all-pervading Lord to address you as mother? What? For handling, caressing, loving, nursing the creator of the 14 worlds. What? For easily achieving what saints like Sanaka could only after arduous and lean. What? For making Krishna plead with you when you punished him by tying him to a mortar, that even Brahma and Indra feel jealous of you. It's a beautiful bhajan. Ennathavam Seideno. Engum nirai parabrahmam amma enrarikka engum. The one who is all-pervading, to call that Amma, no? What tapas did I do?
Ennathavam Seidane Yashoda, Ennathavam Seidane Yashoda, Engum nirai parabrahmam amma என்றழைக்க ennathavam seidane Yashoda, எங்கும் நிறையை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை. யசோதா, எங்கும் நிறையை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை. யசோதா, எங்கும் நிறையை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை. யசோதா, படைத்தவனை ஈரேழு புவனங்கள் படைத்தவனை ஈரேழு புவனங்கள் படைத்தவனை கையிலேந்தி சீராட்டி பாலோதி பாலாட்ட என்ன தவம் செய்த ஈரேழு புவனங்கள் படைத்தவனை கையிலேந்தி சீராட்டி பாலோட்டி தாலாட்ட என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா எங்கும் நிறை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை சனகாதிய தவயோகம் செய்து சனகாதிய தவயோகம் செய்து வருந்தி சாதித்ததே புனிதமாதே எளிதில் பெற என்ன தவம் செய்தனை சனகாதிய தவயோகம் செய்து வருந்தி சாதித்ததே புனிதமாதே எளிதில் பெற என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா எங்கும் நிறை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை பிரம்மனும் இந்திரனும் மனதில் பொறாமை கொள்ள பிரம்மனும் இந்திரனும் மனதில் பொறாமை கொள்ள உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்பொத்தி கண்ணனை உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்புத்தி கண்ணனை உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்புத்தி கெஞ்ச வைத்தான் கண்ணனை உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்புத்தி கெஞ்ச வைத்தார் தாயே என்ன தவம் செய்தனை கண்ணனை உரலில் கட்டி வாய்ப்பொத்தி கெஞ்ச வைத்தாய் தாயே என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா எங்கும் நிறை பரபிரம்மம் அம்மா என்றழைக்க என்ன தவம் செய்தனை யசோதா
So never was a mortal woman happier than Yashoda, wife and queen of Nanda, foster mother of the Lord. Day after day she held him in her lap and fed him, cradled him to sleep as if he were an ordinary baby, for not even she suspected the extent of his strength. Pudana was the forerunner of many other demons sent by Kamsa to kill the baby. They came in various forms and guises. Needless to say, none returned alive. Though at first none of the Gopalas realized the extent of the remarkable powers possessed by the infant, slowly they began to have some inkling of the vast storehouse of power that lay between those tiny arms. 90 days after his birth, when the star Rohini came round for the third time, they held the ceremony of his being taken outside the house for the first time. There was a large gathering, and Yashoda bathed the baby amidst the chanting of mantras. Having received the blessings of the Brahmins, she placed the drowsy infant under a cart to sleep. She kept a ring of little boys to watch over him and went inside to attend the guests. At this moment, the demon Shakata entered the cart, thinking that it would be easy to bring it down upon the infant and kill him as if in an accident. But he calculated without knowing the powers of his opponent. At the very instant the cart started to fall, he gave a kick with his tiny foot, and lo, the cart and all its contents were thrown to the other side of the yard, and Shakata was killed. On his body, however, there was no sign, for it is said that since the Lord's feet had kicked him, even his physical form attained liberation. Hearing the terrible cracking sound, everyone rushed forward. What happened? What happened? They asked the children who had been looking after the baby. The cart fell down, and this little boy kicked it and broke it with his feet. They said proudly. The people gazed in astonishment at the baby who was kicking his feet and gurgling happily, as if to confirm the truth of what the children said. These children are capable of making up anything, the adult said in disbelief. Yashoda snatched up her baby, caressed his rose-petal feet. Did you get hurt, my darling? Did the cart hurt you? God certainly looks after your child, Yashoda, other gopis exclaimed. Not having an inkling of the superhuman might of her child, the frightened parents arranged for many rites to be done for him to protect him from evil forces. After this incident, Yashoda was frightened to leave him alone, even for a minute. One evening she was sitting with him in her lap, crooning to him and repeating prayers, when she feels unequal to the task of bearing his weight, for he appeared to be growing heavier and heavier. What could the matter be? She felt that someone had cast an evil eye on him, so she placed him on a mat, went to the kitchen to get some condiments, which when waved above an infant were supposed to ward off the effects of the evil eye. That red chili, and salt they used to do like this. Hardly had she disappeared than the child made himself lighter than usual, for he had known of the approach of the demon Trinavarta, who was coming in the form of a whirlwind that engulfed the whole of Gokula in such a cloud of dust, and the entire settlement was plunged into darkness. While the tornado was raging, Yashoda was unable to see her child anywhere, and she collapsed in fear, started to cry. The demon rose up into the air with the baby, but soon he was unable to bear the infant's massive weight and found his speed dwindling, until at last he fell down with a roar onto a huge rock, dashed himself into smithereens. The Gopalas ran to the spot where the demon had crashed, found the baby glowing like a sapphire atop the rock. Taking up the blessed child, they presented him to his mother. They were filled with wonder at his apparently miraculous escape. Poor Yashoda. Until a child starts to crawl, it can be expected to remain in the place where it has been put. Having a baby at such a late age, Yashoda was already an over-anxious mother, and to add to this, it appeared that this child was accident-prone. She could never leave him alone, even for a minute, and be sure of finding him in the same place on her return. Though he appeared to be unscathed by these experiences, she had no way of knowing that this was due to his own powers and not due to some miracle. She attributed it to luck or providence. How could she imagine that within him lay the ability to protect the entire cosmos? It may have been to set her mind at rest that one day he showed her a miracle. As usual, she was sitting in her favorite spot on the veranda that overlooked two huge trees in the garden, worrying about all the dangers that might possibly befall him. With infinite tenderness, she contemplated the face in her arms. At that moment, the Lord opened his rosebud mouth as if to yawn. And lo, the mother saw the entire universe in his little mouth. She stared, fascinated. There was no doubt. The sky, the earth, the heavens, the stars, the planets, the sun, the moon, fire, air, ocean, rivers, continent were all inside the baby's mouth. For a split second she forgot herself and the baby and felt as if she were poised on the brink of endless worlds, the spectator of a mighty cosmic drama. At last she could bear it no longer. She closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, the illusion, if it could be called that, had vanished. She was just a mother holding her baby in her arms. Rohini, Rohini, she called, come here and tell me what you see in this child's mouth. I thought I saw something strange and wondrous. Rohini came running, and with great difficulty she managed to prise open his little mouth and shove her little finger inside, only to get a sharp nip of her pain. I know that what is in this child's mouth. He is teething, that is what you saw. She told Yashoda. Yashoda shook her head doubtfully. The miracle she had just witnessed was already fading from her mind. But a lingering feeling of awe remained, and with it a certain degree of comfort. This child was not as helpless as he looked, she thought to herself. There was no need for her to worry so much over his welfare. He was capable of looking after himself. This thought comforted her, and this was just what the Lord wanted. At that time, the great sage Gargacharya, the priest of the Yadava clan, went to Vraja at the instigation of Vasudeva, who sent him there to perform the naming ceremony of his sons. Gargamuni was noted for his skill in astrology, and Nanda welcomed him, requested him to perform the purificatory rites for his child as well as Rohini's. Gangacharya said, I am well known as the priest of the Yadavas, and if I perform the purificatory rites for these children, Kamsa will come to hear of it, take it as an indication that his foe is here, and take steps to kill him. So Nanda begged him to perform the ceremony in some solitary place without the knowledge of even the other Gopalas. Since the sage knew everything and had gone there with the express purpose of naming the child, he agreed. Thus, without the knowledge of anyone else, the ceremony was conducted in an empty cow barn with only Nanda, Yashoda, Rohini as witness. First, Gargacharya took Rohini's child in his lap, since he was the elder, and named him Balarama, because of his great strength as well as his ability to delight everyone. Next he lifted Yashoda's child, placed him tenderly on his lap. The mischievous little thing gave him a sharp look as if to say, you would better give me a good name, one that has never been heard before, and yet one which befits me, will be remembered by all to come, or else. At this moment, the old man felt the baby's hand give a sharp tug of his long grey beard, which dangled right down to the baby's stomach and was tickling him. Gargacharya smiled, looked into these wondrous eyes, and his heart left his keeping. Krishna. That was the name for him, Krishna. The one who steals the hearts of man, so that one who has once come into contact with him belongs to him forever. Krishna also means dark in color, for the baby was the color of the rain cloud during the monsoon. Gargacharya then outlined the child's horoscope and told Nanda that he had been the son of Vasudeva in the previous birth. He would also be known as Vasudeva. Numerous are the names with which the child will come to be known because of his qualities and achievements. Even I cannot know them all. Marco Nanda, This child is equal to Lord Narayana himself in respect of fame, prowess, excellence. Look after him with all attention. All those who harm him will be harming themselves, and those who love him will be ever protected. Krishna gurgled with delight. Here at last was one who realized his greatness, and here was the license to perpetrate whatever mischief he wished to do. He decided to lead the inhabitants of Gokula in such a dance that they would never forget him for the rest of their lives. Thus ends the third chapter, the Divine Infant. Next comes the butter thief. But before that, again we would like to read the last chapter, because it is not a mere story, The avatar comes in order to free the jiva from the complicated web of divine origin, enable it to realize its own nature. Fortunate are those who happen to catch the lilting strains of his sweet music emanating from his magic flute. For them, the mundane world ceases to charm. Like the gopis of Vrindavan, they run in rapture to that enchanter in the forest, forgetting everything, spellbound by the form of that Lord of love and beauty, Shyama Sundara Manamohana Vanamali. Advaita seeks for this indefinable existence, beyond personalities, but the devotee of God sees in him that indefinable personality. By adoring him, by union with him, the jiva can come to enjoy its own divine status. This is the promise made by him to Uddhava and Arjuna. Only then does the beggar realize that he was in truth the king who had taken the role of a mendicant. Then the cosmic drama comes to a close, the curtain falls, the actor, director, audience remains in blissful, enraptured consciousness of himself as Satchidananda. So also in the cosmic drama, the supreme matter has to forget his real nature and allows himself to be caught in the web of his own maya. All of us, we feel we are individuals, The supreme matter has to forget his true nature, allow himself to be caught in the web of his own maya. If he is to completely and satisfyingly enact the different roles, he becomes the king on the throne, beggar in the street, murderer about to be hung, and the victim lying in a pool of blood, as well as the judge pronouncing the judgment in the court. He is the sole actor, the sole enjoyer, the only experiencer, oblivious of his divine origin, submerged in the role. He is playing, laughing, crying, dancing, singing, living and dying. This is the cosmic play of the Lord, inexplicable, tantalizing, adorable. Samarpanam at the lotus feet of Vanamali, the producer and director and sole actor of the soul drama. So every time we have to keep on bringing that dimension in our mind. Pujya Swamiji was regularly applying his mind on Srimad Bhagavatam. Whenever there was an opportunity for him to hear, he would even go to Kannur, Rajan's place, whenever Swami Jnanananda Swami comes there. And later on, he started serializing some portions from Bhagavata. Bhagavata. And when he was laid up, God gave the prompting to a couple of devotees to compile the whole thing from the vision and bring it out in the form of a book. Though Pujya Swamiji was rooted in the impersonal aspect of God, he was also equally maintaining a relationship with the personal form of God. Right from the days before he came to ashram, before he got in touch with Beloved Papa, he had this. That is why in 2003, before he fell seriously sick, he composed a prayer in which both the personal and the impersonal aspects were highlighted in a beautiful way. So that is why he prompted us to take up this Krishnaleela. Krishna is in our heart. Though we hear it in the form of a story, every now and then suppose we bring in this idea. So the birth of the unborn, when we can say we started becoming aware of his presence, started getting a glimpse of his presence. Again we forget, like Yashoda and Nanda. They forget, for a moment they feel he is a supernatural child. But again they come back and do all these things to protect him, So every time when we read this, suppose if we bring into our mind that the remembrance of the Lord, it comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes. Here is an attempt on our part, by going through the story of this Purnavatar, and while hearing it, there is a joy, inexplicable joy is there. As if we are hearing somebody's. But again, every now and then we bring back to our mind, it is the Krishna in our heart. And finally we will know that. That is why every now and then we read this. He is the director, he is the audience, he is the actor, he is everything. So he creates the stage, he brings out new characters. There are villains, there are heroes. So all these things are depicted in the form of the manifestation. Suppose we start applying this gradually also as we keep on going through the text. Gopis or Gopalas, everything, Then we really enjoy. And the Krishna's presence, Krishna consciousness, we have been assured will ever be with us. So we all pray to him now. You gave us a wonderful opportunity of hearing your incarnation story. You came down in the form of a human form, human person. And apparently you behaved like a human being. But in between, you brought out your original nature. Like that, I know that you are there, but I forget that you are there. Every now and then, I see so many things. When I open my eyes, I see this wondrous manifestation. Something I cannot even mentally calculate. The origin of each and every manifestation of creation. Again I forget. I see them as objects. So kindly enable me to really make use of the story of your Leela as a human, and then connect me up to my own spiritual journey, so that at the end I become one with you. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai